Hello, I'm Ricky Lee, and today on the watch list, I'm joined by Freddie New, CEO of Hodl. The company recently announced another Bitcoin purchase, bringing its total holdings to 155 Bitcoins, continuing its strategy to build one of the largest Bitcoin treasuries on the Aquis exchange. And with that growth comes a bigger question: how the company is generating yield and managing risk in a volatile market. Freddie, welcome to the watch list.
Hi, Ricky. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for being here. So tell us, Freddie, with the latest purchase bringing you to 155 Bitcoin, how are you approaching Bitcoin yield generation? And how do you balance attractive returns with counterparty and custodial risk?
Great question. So perhaps addressing the counterparty risk first. The way that we have focused on generating yield is in an entirely self-custodial and secure and safe way. That's a primary objective for us. To give you a bit of extra context there, the primary way that we generate revenue from our Bitcoin is via the Lightning Network. You may be familiar with that as the second layer payment network that sits on top of the base layer of the Bitcoin network. It enables very fast and quick payments to be made. But at the same time, in order to do that properly, it needs a lot of Bitcoin liquidity to be locked into channels. So our business model is quite simple. We raise equity, we buy Bitcoin, and then we're gradually deploying more and more of that Bitcoin into these Lightning payment channels. And much in the same way as Visa and MasterCard are able to charge interchange fees for effectively routing payments on the Visa network or the MasterCard network, we do exactly the same thing on the Lightning Network. The great thing about that is not only is it a relatively safe way of generating yield, if anything goes wrong and the channel is closed, that Bitcoin comes directly back to us. We're not lending it to anyone. We're not taking counterparty risk on that Bitcoin.
Brilliant. So what safeguards do you have in place around lending, staking, or other yield strategies? And how do you assess the risk-adjusted returns before deploying your Bitcoin?
In a number of different ways. So the team that we put together at Hodl have got a number of years experience of surviving different bear markets bluntly. So coming out of the gate, we took a very prudent approach to cash management. We run very, very lean. As a company, we have very, very low outgoing expenditure and costs. And as we mentioned in our admission documents and our public statements, at the moment, we have roughly 4 years worth of cash runway to cover our expenses following our IPO. Secondly, in terms of managing risk, the Bitcoin that we purchase, we self-custody using a best-in-class multi-signature, multi-jurisdiction, and multi-device protocol. Exactly the same protocol that Coin Corner themselves use, Coin Corner being one of the oldest exchanges in the United Kingdom, and also a very well-respected custodian of Bitcoin in their own right. And as I've already mentioned, the way that we are generating yield on our Bitcoin is in a manner that does not include any counterparty risk, because if a channel is closed, that Bitcoin comes straight back to our own Bitcoin wallet address.
Amazing, very well thought out. And so looking ahead then, how much will Bitcoin yield contribute to your operating cash flow? And how do you keep that consistent through different market cycles?
The consistency question is a great one. At the moment, our initial results have been throwing off about 6% in terms of our yield on an annualized basis. So we're very pleased with that. We were initially modeling slightly lower than that. If we can maintain 6%, we'll be delighted. As I mentioned, that's ahead of our initial expectations. We have a number of different strategies in play for deriving revenue in a similar way from the Lightning Network. The first of those is public at the moment. We will be announcing further results from our other strategies in the very near future.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Freddie.
Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you. So once again, that was Freddie New, CEO of Hodl. For more on the company's Bitcoin strategy and latest updates, visit bhodl.com. That's all for this episode of The Watch List. I'm Ricky Lee. Make good choices today.